Good morning. My name is Bill Bensley. My great experiences in Malaysia go back 30 years, and with this short video, I'd like to show you just some of the highlights and some of the best times and best projects that we've had in Malaysia, because it's a fantastic place. I love Malaysia.
Malaysia was the first country in Asia that I visited. Upon graduation from Harvard, I backpacked happily for 4 months throughout Europe. Then, with funds exhausted, I flew via Moscow on Aeroflot to KL, then hitchhiked from KL to Tioman Island, where I stayed in a simple grass hut right on the beach, sketching portraits of the locals in trade for food and provisions. This was the fall of 1984 that I lived that ideal Malaysian island life for far too few days before hitchhiking to Singapore, where I was hired the day I arrived. I loved being hard at work with Belt Collings in Singapore. The following week, they sent me on my first professional business trip, which was back to Malaysia, this time to the West Coast. Via Ipoh, I traveled by small plane, old Mercedes taxis, ferry, and a motorcycles, wooden boat to arrive at Pulau Pangkor Laut. I remember on that first trip I encountered the smelly durian on the side of the road, and, curious, I bought one, and I loved it. They say if a foreigner loves durian at first bite, he will stay in Asia the rest of his life. Well, I did, and I have. That first night I spent in Pangkor Laut, long before the hotel was open, was under 2 sheets of plywood, propped up on each other, with a local dog, the rest of the durian, and in the pouring monsoon, but I was happy as a clown. Working with the then very young Yo family, the first phase of Pangkor Laut was a series of shipping containers fitted out with simple toilets and a glass door, which, when I look back on it now, was awful, but it was pretty darn good then. My, how things have changed. The next commission that Lek and I did for the Yo family, or YTL, was the refurbishment of the master architect Pete Wimberley's great work, Tanjung Jara, for which he won an Aga Khan Award. Fast forward in 1994, our first Bensley interior design commission came from Malaysian Airlines with the 4 Seasons in Langkawi. I had concentrated on designing resort gardens before this new job presented itself, and of course I was thrilled. What a project with which to start interiors. We worked for 8 years with my classmate Lek Bunag and the talented Jeffrey Wilkes to shape what is now a Malaysian classic resort.